that depends. That depends on what, for example, what the funder of the research has demanded. For example, in a data management plan, the researcher indicates what he or she is going to be doing for the preservation of his or her data. And then such a funder can say, we want you to publish or to store it on EASY, right, because we are talking about open science and open access. And that's what EASY is about, most of the time. And so the requirements, yes, but that depends on what the funder has how do you say that? What the funder has demanded of the researcher. And sometimes they do. I think free will. Yeah, I think they do it out of free will because then your work gets spread. But that's something that would be a personal note. I cannot judge that for the rest of the community.
Right.
But yeah, I think data management plans have a big role in this one. Because that's where you state what you do with your data and how you preserve it.
Okay. So you said you were not yet that long at DANS, of course. So I don't know if you have already made maybe some experience between the quality of the documentation of the service from let's say enforced by a data management plan, enforced submissions, and those of free will. If you already made some experiences in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have, the experience I have is in making and filling my own data management plan. So, knowing what sort of questions are in there, working with automated data management planning.
Okay.
And that varies from data management plans with 4 questions to questions above 150 questions. So, I'm not sure if that's an answer to your question, but the experience I have is limited to as to the policies that. Yeah.
I have those 2 resources, like those papers that I sent you, kind of paper exercises. There you basically this is, I think we talked a bit about the service is kind of like a more generic version of, let's say, even in color. It's a more generic, let's say, version of, let's say, the CERN analysis preservation service that we talked about a little bit before. As you can see, there would be a dashboard here where basically researchers can this is resource 1, where they can basically see what kind of research is within their circles, which ones is maybe globally available based on conference and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously they can see their own analysis or research projects.
Yeah.
And then there would be the resource 2, where they could see a very detailed and very in-depth analysis template. So where they can see work by others, or where they can basically describe their research in such a long, very tailored template, right?
Yeah.
If you see something like this, maybe compared to what you are using at DANS, what is your impression of such a service? And maybe how is it different from the ones that you offer at DANS?
Yeah. Just a side note, Sebastian, my laptop battery is getting low.
All right.
That's not a problem, but my apologies. I have to get my charger.
Sure.
Is that okay? And then in the meantime, I will think about the answer for this. I'm back in a sec.
Don't hurry. Don't.
So yeah, I could have thought that through, but here we are. So yeah, so you asked about my first impression of these services, right? The resources.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, yeah. I think it's very how do you say that? It's very structured.
Mm-hmm.
I like the. Are you at what level of detail do you want me to comment or?
Basically pops into your mind, let's say.
Okay. So I like the colors.
Okay.
It's a good, you know, the contrast between the purple and the white and the blue makes it clear that there are certain sections in the page that indicate a certain difference between, for example, the most popular published and said which I can sort, so that's clear to me. I like that. And I like yeah, I think it's a good how do I say it, structured view. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's not too much information. I mean, it's not for the page doesn't give me an information overload. So where do I need to look? No, it's really structured and nice. It's not too much.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at that resource tool, what exactly, how do I see this? Is that this?
It'd be like a template, basically, that is tailored maybe to a community, where then people would basically like describe in fields the corresponding information. How does this compare, this like very generic approach to service? How does this compare to the services that we discussed before, like Easy and Data Wars?
Well, if I look at Easy, for example, that when I want to look up a data set, a lot more information is required from me. I mean, there's the filter on the left,
Okay.
if I remember correctly, and then I can enter a lot of search queries.
Okay.
And here I have the idea that you already made a certain selection of topical points of information of such a data set or of a publication or of whatever. So that you made a certain pre-selection of what I can find. And I'm looking at the preservation dashboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's usually more like tailored to a community. So it's
yeah. So Easy, but well, that's that. Yeah, that's maybe as well be the difference of Easy is very big and generic, mostly pertaining to the social sciences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's not necessarily domain specific. I wouldn't dare to say that, but so this would be for any domain.
Mm-hmm. Could be tailored to a domain. Why is Easy tailored to the social sciences? Or why is it basically focusing, or is it focused on by social sciences?
That has to do with the history of Duns. Duns evolved from the Dutch historical archives. Okay. So that's basically historical, archaeological, social scientists working with the Dutch with this data archive. So that's basically that's just. Yeah, that's history. That's legacy. So that's the way Duns evolved over the years. Why we have that social science signature. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason I can think of.
Okay. So opening it up to other sciences would be very possible, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, it would be possible, but the thing is that there are repositories with the domain specific signature. So you have Mendeley for